Chi Chin, Pui Pui. Tai Chou Pui. Adrenaline V Drink. Takeda.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Grant.
And I'm Alex.
Alex, welcome to our very latest video of review, where we review things. Where we rewatch stuff.
Not
and then
like it's our
them.
channel name or anything.
Yeah. So today, Alex, what are we reviewing today?
We are doing a movie. I'm not sure you've heard of it. I mean, more than likely you haven't heard of it. But it's called A Spirit in a Bowl or something? No, Ghost in the Shell.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
That's it. 2017.
2017.
Now we're doing this specifically because a new Ghost in the Shell series is coming out.
Mhm.
It's called
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell something. It's a Netflix series, and we saw the teaser trailer. It's been a while actually. It was way back in November.
Yeah.
It was I don't even remember what it was. It was just like all I remember was a CGI show from Netflix.
Yeah.
And I got really pissed.
Because Netflix ruins everything.
Yes. No, because they like their anime, like they just do a lot of CGI anime, and they don't do it good.
I'm not a fan of CGI anime.
Neither am I.
Just in general, even if it's done good, I'd rather have, standard 2D.
It really, if the story's really good, that's the only way I could watch 3D animation.
Yeah.
But so we're not gonna talk about that, but we will be
Yet.
talking about Ghost in the Shell, the series, throughout the year, I guess.
Yeah.
But we want to start off with a movie that no one gives a shit about except
Exactly.
for us, because Alex and I are probably the only two people who like this film.
Yeah, I had no problems with it.
All right, so Ghost in the Shell from 2017. Let's do the plot summary. All right, in the near future, Major Mira Killian, Scarlett Johansson.
We can cut that. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, editor, cut that out. Scarlett Johansson is the first of her kind, a human saved from a terrible terrorist attack, who is a cyber enhanced to be perfect soldier, devoted to stopping the world's most dangerous criminals. When terrorism reaches a new level that includes the ability to hack into people's minds and control them, Major Killian is uniquely qualified to stop it. As she prepares to face a new enemy, Killian discovers that she has been lied to. Her life was not saved, it was stolen. She will stop at nothing to recover her past, find out who did this to her and stop them before
especially
they do it to others.
At the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. All right. So, Academy Award nominees for Scarlett Johansson as Major Miria Killian, aka Motoko Kusanagi. Kitano Takeshi as Chief Daisuke Aramaki. Pilo Asbeck as Bato. Chin Han as Togasa. Juliette Boucher as Dr. Ole. Peter Ferdinando, that's his name, as Cutter. and finally Momoi Kaori as Makoto's mother. I don't know if Makoto's mother in this movie had a name.
Makoto's mother.
All right, so Alex, I think we need to get this out of the way. The controversy.
Yeah, who the fuck names their kid Ferdinando?
So this movie had a controversy when it first came out. I don't know if you remember it, but
The people didn't like it.
People did not like that they were making an adaptation of Ghost in the Shell, which I will be fair, I didn't either. But once I saw the set behind the set stuff,
Yeah.
I was convinced. I was like, oh, this looks really good. I can't wait to see the movie. And I progressively got more excited for the movie. And plus, I think Scarlett Johansson is a good actress.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it. Now, people were not. And the movie got trashed beyond belief. I remember the first couple of days when it came out, or before it came out, it was like at a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, dipped to the 40s. People were saying it was racist, they were whitewashing, they were doing all this stuff because of Scarlett Johansson. What is your opinion on that?
It's not really her fault. I mean, she got paid to do it. It's not like it's it was her choice to be in the movie. I mean, they were like, hey, do you want to be in this movie? We'll pay you fucking $17 million. She's like, oh, yeah, sure. I can do that.
Yeah.
Little did she know she'd be considered a racist for a while.
Because people, obviously people not here in Japan, but people in the States, obviously idiots, were mad about this and saying that,
how dare you make her white?
And it's like, the funny thing is, like, she admitted she'd never heard of the Ghost in the Shell. She'd never seen it, but they sent her a script. She read it and she was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And then they sent her a copy of the movie. I remember she talked about this in a press conference in Tokyo. And she was, she said that this was so philosophical, she didn't know if it would translate well, but she was very much eager to try. And I do find it weird how people will get mad at, like, an actor for, like, just being casted in a movie.
How dare you be white?
It's like, have you ever seen? I've never seen it, actually. It's called you know what? I don't even know what it's called. It's a Chinese film, actually. It was on, like, the Chinese wall, the Wall of China.
I think that's what the movie is called.
Wall of China?
I don't know, probably.
And it had Matt Damon in it. And people were mad because they were saying it was whitewashing, but it was a Chinese film, and Matt Damon was just like, hey,
I'm Matt Damon!
They just said for me to come and audition.
They're the ones that told me to come here.
Yeah, I went to China to film at a Chinese studio to make this movie with Chinese actors. So I do find it...
Literally, weird. I'm the only white guy in the movie.
Yeah, so people trashed on this movie, and it was generally received poorly, as I'm sure you can imagine. Yeah. And other places, like in Japan, not so much. In Japan, people were more open to it. I know my friends were more open, or I mean, most of my friends haven't even seen the fucking movie, but the friends who have seen it, they like it. They think it's pretty good. But I will say this, because I have to get this out of the way. Bonus fact: the most Japanese people who gave this a good review saw it in dub, I'm assuming, and the dub contains the original voice actors from the original anime series, the standalone complex, and the 1995 movie. So I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna chalk it up to, like, those actors they're still terrific. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna assume most of my friends who have seen the movie, they've probably seen it dubbed. So that's why they like it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I think the movie has more problems than just Scarlett Johansson being casted.
Yeah. I mean, she played the part well.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Well, enough with the controversy. Let's talk about the movie.
But that's the fun part.
Let's talk about the movie. So let's start off with what we usually do, characters and story. Alex, what did you think of the movie, even after the controversy, like all this stuff? What did you think about it?
Well, I didn't really give a shit about the controversy because, I mean, everyone has their own opinion, and I will base my opinion off of the movie, which was, I mean, my first time seeing it. And, I mean, I gotta say, it was good. I really liked just the visuals and all the backgrounds, how they portrayed the city. It was, and the robots, oh my god, the robots were so good. They were just so intricately designed, and you could tell that there was actual, like, care put into it.
Yeah, the special effects was actually Weta Workshop. They're the New Zealander. They worked on Lord of the Rings, Alien. They've worked on many films. Yeah. They've worked on many films, but yeah, they actually hand created all of the robots in the movie.
I know. And that's why it just looks so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to get into, like, the story and the characters, which I do have problems, obviously. Yes. It's not I'm not the I do to get this out of the way. I like the movie. We both like the movie. Yeah. And I've actually, believe it or not, this is probably, even though I'm not claiming this is the best movie of all time, but
it's not like we put it on a pedestal, but it's not like we throw it in the dumpster either.
But, like, I think I've rewatched this movie more times than any other movie of the last decade.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've rewatched this movie a lot, but I do have problems with it because there are some things that I disagree with. Yeah. One of the ones being is casting. Now, I think we both agree. The best casting in the movie, Scarlett Johansson's really good. Mm-hmm. The guy, Pilo Ablak, blah, blah, blah.
Pilo Akbar.
Game of Thrones guy. He is amazing as Bato. He's so good. Then, of course, how could we forget Takeshi? Yeah. The fucking Yakuza for life guy. He plays Armaki. He steals the show towards the end of the movie.
公安許可電脳通信は危険だ 羊を殺すのにウサギを汚すな
Quite literally.
Quite literally, yeah. So I think those guys are really well casted, but the casting I have a problem with in this movie is almost everyone who has a speaking role.
Pretty much everyone else.
Pretty much everyone else. And I think we last time because we watched this a few days ago. I think we both kind of agreed on this, like the casting, like this, all the speaking roles in the background for some reason don't make sense. Like Hanka Robotics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the big corporation bad guy in the movie.
Hank Hill Robotics.
Everybody involved with Hanka
Robitis.
Everybody involved with Hanka Robotics, did you notice how they're all white?
Yes.
All of them were these white people. The CEO,
Honkers.
Cutter, that was his name, Mr. Cutter. He was a white guy. He had a nice suit, and he had a cool yellow eye.
He reminded me a lot of Handsome Jack because he's a leader of a giant robotics corporation, and he had like different colored eyes, a real nice sense of fashion, and kind of a sadistic asshole.
Yeah, so he's a white guy.
Yeah,
Who
who is also white.
Yeah, he's the CEO of Hanka Robotics, a Japanese corporation. Then you have, in the very beginning of the movie, you remember the African representatives of United Africa, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were meeting with the Hanka Robotics representative, who is another, like, old white guy. Another one.
A boomer.
And then, yeah, a boomer, essentially. The last movie I saw him in was Alien Resurrection, which was a shit movie. Welcome back.
He looks like he was resurrected.
One of the main characters, the one who builds, what's her name? Mira?
The robot
Scarlett
lady.
Johansson. Her name's Dr. Olay. It's a white British woman.
Yes.
Then, when they do the dive into the geishas,
Mm-hmm.
the lady who has, like, the eyes that go up, I think she's a New Zealander, actually. She's a white New Zealander with red hair.
Moral of the story and point of all of this, a lot of white people.
Okay, the thing I want to get out here is that everybody in Hanka Robotics was a white person. And that annoys me, not because I want to see, like, I don't care if it's a Japanese person. It could be a Korean person, it could be Chinese. I don't care. At least just Asian, like characters, speaking roles. I don't care because it makes sense. It's called Hanka Robotics. This is a Japanese corporation, and it's in Japan. You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of like America to just kind of take over something that they want.
Well, it's called laziness, I would say.
I'm sure they could have found Asian actors, but they just didn't.
Right.
Like, they could have found people to fit the roles, but they didn't.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, there are you look at the background of this movie. There are Asian extras all over the place.
Yes.
All over the place.
Just grab one of them off the green screen, put them in
like,
place.
There's so many of them. Even like there are main characters who are Asian. Obviously, we just mentioned Armaki, Chief Armaki, is played by one of the most famous Japanese actors of this day and age. And then, of course, you have, Makoto's mother, who didn't have a name. She's played by another Japanese actress. And then you have, what was his name? Hang on. Chin Han. He's a famous Singaporean actor who's been in many Chinese films. He's been in many American films. You know, he was last in Skyscraper with
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
He was also known for The Dark Knight. So he's been in big movies. And he plays Togasa, who's severely underused in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I want to give credit where credit's due. There's a lot of Asian actors, and it feels like this is Japan. So I give them credit where credit's due. They even go to a Yakuza run bar. Everybody's Asian.
Yes.
But with Hanka Robotics, for some reason, they felt the need to just cast a bunch of white people, and it just kind of it honestly takes me out of the movie when it's like I'm supposed to be convinced that this is a world where this is Japan.
We are currently in Japan.
Yes, we are currently in Japan, and
then why is everyone white?
We're not even in Tokyo. We're in Kobe, which would have even less foreigners in it. So it was just bizarre to me. And that's not the only thing. Like there's the scene with the skinny man, where the guys in the trucks where you had a problem when they were eating noodles out of the bag.
It's kind of like Canada's bagged milk.
Yeah,
it's unnatural and it doesn't make sense.
I don't do it, but it people do it. But yeah, so those two guys, both of them, not big roles, we can agree.
Yeah,
both of them were white, and both of them were just American guys.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Just get a bunch of two Asian actors. They don't need to do anything.
They're just there to get possessed and then die.
Yeah. So just make them Asian actors.
Get possessed, get their asses kicked, and then die.
I have a list here. These are
a list
of Japanese actors in Hollywood, or that have worked in Hollywood that could have been in this movie because they were free. They were available at the time.
We'll flash them on screen.
Yeah. We got Okamoto Tao. She is a fantastic Japanese actress, and most notable films from Hollywood she's been in I could think of are the Wolverine. She was also in Batman versus Superman. Yeah, she was the love interest. Yeah, not a great role for her.
Yeah, let's just sweep that one under the rug.
Fukushima Rila. This girl was hired for this movie. I shit you not. But they only used her as a model for the geisha droids.
Motherfucker.
If you hired this, she's a well-known actress. She's in fucking Arrow. She's in one of the TV shows of Hollywood. Yeah. You could have used her more in the movie. She could have been the lady.
They could have actually used her.
She could have been the throwaway character that dies, the lady with the weird eyes who works at Hanka Robotics. And then there's more. There is more. Then there's Sanda Hiroyuki. This guy was born in the United States. He was born in Canada, actually. He's lived in the United States. He knows fluent Japanese and fluent English. Could have used him. He was available at the time. They could have hired him to be, Hanka Robotics CEO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and there's so much more. You could have used Kikuchi Rinko, who is the lead. She's Mako in Pacific Rim. She would have been perfect for Dr. Ole or Dr.
Someone.
Hudavashi. Well, I don't know fucking.
Someone in
anybody.
the movie.
Karen Fukuhara. She is another born she was born in Los Angeles. Knows fluent Japanese. Knows fluent English.
It's kind of funny that they hired a bunch of white people, probably because they speak English, but the one OG Japanese guy that they hired didn't speak a fucking word.
Because he didn't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They could have hired all these people that would have fit the roles better that knew English, so there's no we need a translator. Oh, they need to learn the language. No, they could have used them. There's no language barrier. But the one guy that has possibly one of the most speaking roles in the movie doesn't speak a fucking word of English. Because he refuses to. And I just find that kind of funny.
What I find weird about it is that, Kitano Takeshi, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
He's great. I love him. And, I mean, the fact that he speaks Japanese in the movie, I don't care. That's fine. I find it weird how he's literally the only one who speaks Japanese.
They could have, granted, he's a very good choice.
Oh yeah.
But they could have hired someone else.
Yeah, there
just to make it less jarring when it switches in the same conversation.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with that if there was a balance,
Yeah.
If there was a few other Japanese speakers and American speakers.
There were a few other people in the movie that didn't speak English.
Yeah. I saw a movie. It's called Midway. It's not a good movie, by the way, but
Midway.
It's okay. It's on the South Pacific.
Yeah.
World War II.
It's about Pearl Harbor.
Half of the movie is dedicated to the Japanese, and whenever they show the Japanese, they're always speaking Japanese.
Because, They're Japanese.
Yes, and in the beginning of the movie, like you have the American speaking Japanese. Like he's like, oh, like they make a comment where he's just like, where one of the British guys, he's trying to do like he's like, stupid traditions, you know, and then he's like, come on, it's fun, and he's like, oh, you say that just because you speak their language, and like you see him speaking Japanese, you know, and he speaks pretty good for the guy, and he's speaking Japanese with the guy, but then they switch over and the Japanese man starts speaking English, and that's for convenience for the general audience. You know? That's why they did that. So, but the entire movie, it's like a balance. Like whenever they cut to the Japanese, they're speaking completely Japanese. When they cut to the Americans, they're speaking completely English. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they do that here?
Because fuck it.
Because fuck it. You know what would have been cool? That the leader of like Cutter, like instead of being Cutter, like he was like, I don't know, like
Printer.
Like Hideo Kojima or whatever. Like
whatever his name is.
You know, the famous game designer. No, I'm kidding. Like maybe his name was like Hideo Ryuki, I don't know. And like he's like played by like a Japanese actor who speaks Japanese the whole movie, and him and, you know, Armaki, they have like this rivalry. Then it would make more sense. It's like, oh, you have two good like Japanese actors speaking Japanese.
Cutter really wasn't in the movie a whole lot.
He was in it a decent amount.
Not as much as he should have been, but because he's the main antagonist. He's the guy that's running the robotics thing. And I mean, yeah, sure. Spoilers, by the end of the movie, he plays a bigger part. But I mean, he should have been there more so in that whole movie.
Sure, well,
even if they had to pad out the runtime a little bit longer.
That was the whole, like, the twist. The twist was that, like, okay, Kuze was not a bad guy, which for some reason every Ghost in the Shell story that's adapted has to have, because that's what people were saying, like, oh, in Ghost in the Shell,
the Shyamalan twist.
They must have the twist where it's like the hacker is not a bad guy. It's like morally ambiguous.
I kind of saw that coming.
And it's like, listen, like the original anime did it perfectly, and it was much smarter and much better. The original manga did it better. Here, you could have just, I mean, really, like the idea of like Standalone Complex is like it's a series of stories within the universe of Ghost in the Shell and how shitty it is. Yeah. And it's Section 9 is here to combat terrorists and corrupt corporations, corrupt government officials. That's what Section 9 is about. And that actually, okay, this is going to lead into like the story, my story problems. The whole story revolves around Mira instead of Motoko. Yeah. And I don't like that.
Based on what you've told me, the movie is drastically different from the anime.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, sure, they have the iconic parts that they have to recreate or fans will get angry.
Which, to be fair,
but I mean,
are good.
They got angry anyways, so kind of screwed the pooch on that.
Yeah. We got to make this movie for the fans so they'll like it. And it's like, just fucking suck.
It's like, how dare you cast a white woman as an Asian lady? Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. So we didn't have to put that much time and effort into the fucking movie, thanks.
Seriously, a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't like the whole plot with like Mira being, because like to me, like Ghost in the Shell, the heart of Ghost in the Shell is like a team. It's a team of people, an ensemble cast of people together.
A ragtag team of rootin' tootin' robots.
Getting along, they're doing their thing, and that's why like I really wish Togusa was in it more. Because Togusa's the human connection. Yeah. And he's the one who's like, oh, he has a wife, he has a child, he has no cybernetic enhancements.
And puppies.
Whereas everybody else,
can you never forget about the dogs?
Oh, wait, that's more Bato's thing. He loves dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Togusa got a puppy, though, for his child.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'll have to read it again. But yeah, so like Togusa has like, he's like the human connection, but they cast this amazing Singaporean actor, and he doesn't do shit the entire movie. He has one cool scene at the end where he's in a noodle shop and he like shoots the guys who are trying to kill him. And that's it.
He has a pretty kick-ass fight scene, but then he's just gone.
Yep. Okay, this pissed me off, and I think we talked about this after the movie. They made up a character specifically for this film, which is just this random British girl.
Hello, love. The cavalry's here.
She's like doing stuff with the guy. It's like she doesn't exist.
She's there for 5 seconds and then leaves.
Well, she's there. Well, okay. She has a little bit more. Like nobody has specifically a lot of screen time, like in Section 9. But like she has a little bit more screen time than most of them combined, right?
Yeah.
And I hate her because she's not even part of the original, cast of characters.
She is, in canon, non-existent.
Yeah, so it's like, why make it, like, you have this cast of great, like, likable characters that could each play a role, but they all just kind of boil it down to, like, they're all just kind of soldiers. You know what I mean?
There are so many things you could have done with this. Why didn't you do it the right way?
Like, okay, Ishikawa, who, funny enough, I found this out when I was doing research for our review. His name is Carlos Ishikawa in the movie.
Carlos!
And he's played by a black guy. So,
shaking my head in disapproval.
He in the movie doesn't do much. He has one of my favorite lines, though, when he gets the new liver transplant so he could drink more.
Yep.
I actually do like that
Yep.
line.
I'm pretty sure a majority of, not even just America, the world, if cybernetic enhancements came out, that's the first one people would get.
I would fucking get that.
I would get it.
I would not. Yeah, of course.
It's like, I want an immortal liver. Are you kidding me?
You know what I would get? I'd get a fucking iron stomach so I never get fat. Like,
I'd get like instead of a heart, I'd get a car engine, to where I could just eat what I want and never have a heart attack.
Live till you're 200.
Exactly.
So yeah, but yeah, he has one of my favorite lines. But the guy, like Ishikawa in the series, Ishikawa is like the tech genius. Like he stays behind in the car in a van and doing the technical
He's
stuff.
the guy in the back of the van with the computer screens and all that.
Because this manga came out in the 80s.
Yes.
That's what he does.
That's what the hacker man is supposed to be.
So, but in here, he's just a soldier.
A guy.
Togusa, he's a great detective, like an amazing detective. And that's kind of why they bring him on because he doesn't have cybernetic enhancements. Like, he's good at fighting. Like, he can hold himself in a fight, but he's not
Human.
Yeah, he's human. He's just pure human. What makes him valuable is that he's a great detective.
Yeah.
They don't utilize him in this movie.
He is there.
보이 보이 僕がついてる大丈夫いアリナミン V ドリンク武田
Yep. He's there.
He's there. Yeah. Saito appears in one scene in the movie. I remember I had to tell you who it was because you didn't even notice.
Yeah, I can't even remember now.
I remember at the very end of the movie where he's like, Saito, go ahead, shoot, and he's like on the roof and he has a sniper rifle and his eye is going into like the sniper rifle and he shoots the helicopter. That was Saito, played by a Japanese actor, by the way.
Yes.
They never utilized him the entire movie except for that one scene.
Oh, too much money. Too much money.
You know what's funny? It would have been cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, they're flying all these British people from fucking England to New Zealand. You know how far New Zealand is? It's right next to Australia. Like, Japan is closer. Just get a bunch of...
just
get...
Fucking put them on a boat.
Just
Come
get
on.
actors from Asia, like Southeast Asia, that are cheap. Because they are.
Yeah.
And boom, it would have been easier. But no, they didn't do that.
No, they'd rather out-resource everything and rake in the big bucks, but then they didn't because
Alex,
people
let's be
hated it.
real. Got to make it for an American audience. The American audience does not want to look at Asian people.
But the funny thing is that they did, though.
They did, yeah. They casted great Asian people, and the American audience was like, "Oh, they're so great. Why wasn't there more?"
Yeah. Hey, those guys are good. Why aren't they in the whole movie?
Yeah. Well, people are gonna.
What's
wonder,
this cracker doing in my anime?
People are gonna wonder why are we like? What do we like about this movie?
I mean, it's a good movie. It's got very nice visuals. I mean, good God, CG.
Well, okay, let's jump right into presentation. Okay, presentation, setting, visuals, music. What are your thoughts? I mean,
I'm a very big guy on visuals.
Right.
Like, when I see shitty CG, I can tell that it's shitty CG. But this was good CG. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved
and stylized.
Yes, I loved every minute that was CG. It's not like it jarringly took me out of the universe, because I mean they partially spliced it with some. I mean, it looked like they partially spliced it with some practical effects.
Oh yeah,
like how they did in Alien.
Right.
And I mean, that's what honestly they're best known for.
Mm.
And that because they just interwove it so seamlessly into the movie it's hard to tell what's practical and what's CG.
Yeah. The thing is, I think most of like the buildings are real.
Yeah.
And they just have like a coat over them. And I do know they built like Weta Workshop. They built like city scales, and then they just filmed it, and then they like overlaid like the advertisements, which admittedly the advertisements don't look real, but that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I mean, they're holograms. They're literally not supposed to look real.
Yeah, but they really, okay, because we're talking about setting and visuals, right?
Yeah.
What I love about this movie is, people were saying, and I told you this before we started filming, that this is as bad as Dragon Ball Revolution.
And those people are burning in hell as we speak.
The American adaptation of Dragon Ball?
That one shitty Dragon Ball Z live action movie that either everyone knows or nobody knows.
Right. I've never seen it personally, but I know it's terrible.
I know it exists, and I know it exists poorly.
Like, that movie took everything from Dragon Ball and just made it shit. And they didn't even bother with the setting or anything. This movie went out of its way to make it Japan.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. It's they're not in the United States. They were like, no, this is Japan. And they didn't even an audience, a general American audience, which is what they're trying to advertise to. Clearly, I guess it didn't work.
They're the only people that complained.
A general audience knows Tokyo.
Yes.
Right? And maybe, more educated people, they'll know Osaka. But that's about it. Because that's where American films, usually when they go to Japan, they film in those places.
Like the big places like Tokyo and all those.
Because that's what everyone knows.
Yeah.
This one, no, it's not Tokyo. It's not Osaka. It's Kobe. It's Kobe, Port City, Kobe.
Yeah.
Straight. And they don't necessarily say it in the movie, but it's very obvious that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I really like how they kept that, because that was the original author. He's from Kobe, so he wrote it as it stars in Kobe. Kobe is the new capital of Japan, which is funny to think. But so it's I love how they did that. I love how it's Kobe, and you look at the background, and it's so rich with just like Japanese culture.
Yeah, you could tell it is Japanese, at least Japanese-esque.
Oh yeah, because I mean, think about it. How many times in the movie do we see girls in uniform, little girls in their stupid uniform, navy uniforms,
and their dumb fucking uniforms?
You see it's tons of Japanese all over the place. Japanese geisha, the Yakuza play a prominent role in the movie, which the Yakuza are Japan-based only. Even to the point where the cars drive on the other side of the road, which is, if you don't know, yes, that is Japan. Drives on the other side of the road.
On the wrong side.
On the right side.
On the wrong side.
Get it?
Shut up.
You don't get it. Anyways, so yeah, I do love how I do love the setting, and I love the visuals. Like you, I'm a visual guy, so everything, I was mesmerized by the movie personally.
The one little detail that I'm sure nobody cares about, I'm pretty positive that nobody cares about this, but when the two garbage men were fighting with the team, their guns were awful.
Oh, you mean the plastic covered guns?
The shitty shrink wrapped plastic cover. It looks like they were trying to buy a Nerf gun, but instead of taking it out of the package, they just cut a hole for their trigger. That, it annoyed me.
Again, I thought that was kind of cool, but in a shitty way. It looks like shit. It
yeah,
looks like garbage.
I mean, I can get why. I mean, waterproofing or something like that, dirt proofing. But still, you could have, this is the future. You could have made it something, you could have made your own, design of civilian weapon. But instead you chose to get a MAC-10 and shrink wrap it in bright orange plastic.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just, I'm a firearms guy, and that just, it weirded me out. I can see the practicality of it, but they could have done something more.
Speaking of the firearms in the movie, the action in the film is great. That's another thing we didn't mention. The action's really engaging, really fun. It's actually, there's not that much of it. They use it sparingly.
Yeah, but there's not much of it, but with the way it's sparsed out through the movie, it feels like a lot.
Yeah, and it sticks with you longer.
Yeah.
I still remember. I mean, granted, yes. I mean, yes, I get it. It's essentially just a remake of the original, Skinny Man in the pool, when she chases him down and he's invisible. Yeah, it's a recreation. But you know what? For a faithful recreation, it's a faithful recreation.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it looked very visually
The parts
interesting.
that they just ripped from the anime, they remade well.
Yeah.
But everything else is it's on the fence, I guess.
Well, okay. My problem with the movie, like I said, is mainly story.
Yeah.
Story and casting is weird.
Because isn't the point of the anime the fact that she doesn't feel like her own person?
Well, the point of the series, well, like the general theme, because the point of the series is they're a terrorist organization that stops terrorist groups. That's kind of the point of Section 9. The overarching theme is the loss of humanity in this world. That's the whole thing, and they kind of touch upon it in this one, but they make it to where she's like a unique person, a unique individual.
Yeah,
it's like
that she's one of a kind.
and it's like, well, that's modern day. That's now. We're all everybody nowadays.
Everyone's a snowflake.
Is unique in their own way. The point of the anime is like, and like, there's one episode in Standalone Complex where this guy, it focuses on one guy going throughout his daily life, and his life is so shitty. Like, he was in the war that like tore apart the world, and he's like internally saying like how worthless all like these people are. He's looking at because they're all full body cyborgs, you know, only their brains intact, and they're eating like synthetic food. And he's saying like, oh, their memories were implanted. They probably don't even know that they were implanted, and like how everything's worthless and
friggin' synths.
And it's like people nowadays, it's like in the world of Ghost in the Shell, your memories are kind of questioned because it's like you don't know if they were implanted.
Yeah, I mean, main example, the main character, her memories were falsified and implanted into her head.
But that's only the main character again.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. That makes her unique, where it's in the original, she wasn't unique.
Yeah.
She's
That was the
a
point
character.
of the anime. It was like an identity crisis. Like, oh, am I really unique or am I just another carbon copy?
And then when she has the opportunity to get away from that, she takes that opportunity.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? If they
Instead of just swimming with jellyfish.
if they didn't want to do that in the new movie, that's fine. They don't want to do that, but at least make it to where she's not unique and just keep it a simple like Section 9. They deal with terrorists. Like have it be a story about this group.
At
of
least
guys
have
or
like
people.
Because you said in the anime, I remember you telling me that as she was walking through the city, she was literally looking at like herself, but with other people.
She could she's like, her body is a model.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. It's just a model with a number,
and it was
that means
her
other
with
people.
like different hairstyles.
Yeah, you can see that, and like that's in the movie, and in the series, like they make comment of that where like the guy, he's like sexualizing her. He's like, you have a very nice body, like, you know, like
that
like,
part of the
it's a
movie
shell.
was weird.
So
Just some fat sweaty guy in a strip club.
oh, the Yakuza guy,
Yeah.
the Yakuza club. That was
He was so greasy.
yeah, that's
Like
why I liked it.
like abnormally
I loved it.
just greasy. Like if you think of a fat sweaty pervert, that is him.
I loved
that
it.
is him.
He
He
was
did-
so gross.
He did that character justice. He got down that fat sweaty pathetic pervert.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's our thoughts. Oh, I think we have to mention soundtrack. The soundtrack's
Yes.
great.
We'll include, well, it wouldn't get copyrighted, would it?
I will try, and if it's not there, then it got copyrighted.
Okay.
Alright.
So we'll put in some now.
All right, you're back.
All right. If that was just a long awkward silence, well then, uh-oh.
Too bad. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll try, but the music, if you can find it on YouTube. Unfortunately, they never released a soundtrack of it because the movie did not do well. And
Pitiful.
And there's not going to be a sequel.
Goddamn weebs ruining it for the rest of us.
It's a shame because I do think it's funny how you and I were like one of the few people who liked the movie.
I don't mind it. I mean, it's not that I love it. Like, I'm not putting it on a pedestal. I just don't get why people hated it.
Neither do I. And
like, yeah, sure, they could have casted better, but that's Hollywood.
yeah.
That's Hollywood. There are fucking tons of movies, even nowadays, they could have casted way better for.
Well.
Or
yeah.
just could have not made, you know? Like Cats. They could have just not made that. That would have been fine.
Well,
We wouldn't have cared.
yeah, we wouldn't have mind.
Yeah.
We'd be happy.
Yeah. We could have gone our entire lives without seeing any of that.
Or Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Well, I
think,
mean, it's not like he can be Iron Man anymore. He's got to do something.
Well, so to summarize our thoughts, I mean, to be honest, like I know it seems like I trashed on this movie a lot. I actually do like it quite a bit. Most of it works for me, mainly because of the visuals and the music. And the kind of the more background stuff that went into making it, the amount of effort, and I met the guy. I know a few of the people actually who were involved in the movie. Not the big stars, of course.
No,
I wish I did.
You don't.
The lesser people.
Yeah.
I knew. I met the director, Rupert Sanders, in real life. He's a nice guy, and actually a few of the extras in the movie I actually have seen in real life before, a long time ago, and I found
Didn't
it very
you say
bizarre.
you saw the?
She's the model.
No, I was saying the African representative.
Oh yes, I met him in a bar once.
Yes,
I did back in my my early 100s.
Yeah, early 100s, 110.
Yeah, I met him in a bar once. And funny enough, he was standing next to the guy who did the body work for Spartan Locke of Halo 5.
God.
Yeah, and then this is going to be really unbelievable, but it's a true story. Right after I left that bar on Hollywood Boulevard, well, I guess not that weird, I saw Willem Dafoe on the street, just walking.
Just casually walking.
He was with his girlfriend, and there was like a bodyguard.
It's like, he's a person too.
Yeah, so, I mean, the two guys, like the guy who played the African representative and the guy who played Spartan Locke, I didn't know who they were at the time, but I knew afterwards, after watching this
Just
movie.
had a couple drinks with them, maybe kissed a little,
Yeah,
and then
maybe
you
out
walked
a little
away, and then,
Then I realized,
hey, wait a minute.
it's Willem Dafoe. Yeah, so I do know them. I know the model. I've met her in real life through a fashion show.
Thought you were going to say through Tinder.
No.
If only.
No. And like I said, I met Rupert. I find that very bizarre. Like I just somehow I just met.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna casually meet a bunch of people from this movie that I love. It's no big deal.
And actually, now that I think about it, after not the premiere, but like the pre, like when we got to go to set visit,
The preview.
Preview. It was like I think it was a month before. I was in the same room as Kitano Takeshi.
Oh my god.
But he was on like, the top.
He was on the I paid more seats.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was on like the bottom row to see the movie.
He was on the I'm important seats.
So like he was in the same room, and I didn't notice. I didn't know he was there until somebody had mentioned like, oh, he was there at the event. I was like, what?
And you told me this now?
Yeah, I know that sucks, but whatever.
I mean, it's not like he wants to have every fanboy come up to him and beg him for his autograph.
No, he'd probably get mad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume he'd probably get mad. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us on our analysis of Ghost in the Shell. A long time coming.
I hope you enjoyed.
I'm Grant.
I'm Alex.
Next time on One Fair Review.
Support us on Patreon.
Support us on Patreon. I forgot to mention our sponsor, actually.
We have a sponsor?
We have a sponsor.
We have a sponsor? Guys, we have a sponsor.
So this is from our sponsor. Cut to the commercial.
Daichou Boy! アリナミン V ドリンク武田Daichou Boy! アリナミン V ドリンク武田
Okay, that was the commercial. Yeah. Oh wow, what a great
God.
Alex, try this drink. Ooh, it'll give you energy. Ooh.
I feel so energized.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Thank you to our sponsor for joining us, and thank you guys for watching. As always, have a nice day.